Welcome back to another edition of the Pagcast. I'm your host, Michael Pagani, joined alongside Kingston Frontenacs forward Chris Thibodeau. Chris, welcome to the Pagcast. Thank you again for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
How have you been doing recently? I know, like over the last couple of games, it hasn't been the results you guys have been all looking for, but how have you been doing recently?
I've been doing good. Obviously, the team's been playing well. We haven't really gotten the results we wanted, but you can't ask for much more when we're doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Your most recent game was against the Hamilton Bulldogs. How with all the trades that happened because the deadline was this past Tuesday, how did you factor in all of the moves that they made into your game planning?
It was hard to tell because we haven't seen them since they made all those trades. So it was hard for us to really, know what they were going to bring and know how we were going to work around that. But I think we just kind of had the same mindset. It's just, doesn't work out all the time. So uh, nothing really changed. We just kind of had an off night.
And Ian Lemieux, who you guys acquired from Barrie, that must be a huge boost to the back end there.
Yeah, to have all three of our OAs on the back end when everyone's healthy, it's gonna be real nice.
And I just want to get into your story here. Who influenced you to get into hockey?
My dad played in the East Coast. He played NCAA, so it was definitely him that like not really pushed me, but helped me get into hockey.
And I would assume that you traveled with him everywhere that he played.
Well, he stopped playing before I was born, so he was kind of off hockey. And then once he had kids, my two older brothers, he put them in hockey. They loved it, and so he was like, "Well, might as well keep it going."
Exactly. It kind of just runs in the family, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that means that there must be some sort of like internal competition, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we're a very competitive household. It's always in good fun, but it's very competitive.
So you're born in Charleston, South Carolina. I don't know. Is that true then? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So that means, did you become a Canes fan?
Well, I mean, we always have love for the Canes just because it's the hometown. But I'm more of a Tampa Bay guy because of Martin St. Louis,
Oh, how
and
could you hate him? Or how could you not hate him? That's right. Sorry.
yeah, and so like we just like ever since he played, he's always been a big influence on me, and so now I'm a little bit of a Canes or not Canes, Canadians, but only for him.
Well, I did go see the Montreal Canadiens play against the Kraken, and I traveled because from Burlington, where I'm from, it's around like 5 or 6 hours by train to get to Montreal from
Yeah,
Toronto, actually. And I traveled all that distance for them to get shut out. I was like, what?
yeah,
It was like, what? Like, man, I traveled and they didn't score a single goal. So it's been unfortunate, but yeah, Martin St. Louis, I mean, he's going to have such a big impact on the Montreal Canadiens.
yeah. He already has, so it's exciting to see what he's doing there.
So with you being, an American, how come you wanted to continue with the OHL, not some of the US hockey leagues there?
Well, we moved up here in 2015, so I've been here for a while. Just kind of always had the idea that I want to do a little something different than my dad. My dad went to school, so I was like, you know what, I kind of want to have my own path, and decided that the OHL was probably my best route.
Well, let's talk about that. You got drafted in the fourth round in the 2021 draft. What do you remember from that day?
It was emotional. It was fun. It was exciting. It was everything you would have wished for in a draft day. So it was very exciting, and I was more than blessed to be picked up.
How did you celebrate? Because I know like a lot of players have told me that their draft happens during their school. So they've had to ask their teachers to be excused from class.
Well, mine was during COVID, so we were not in class. We were all stuck at home. So I just had my family there with me, and we were watching it on the TV, just waiting to see when I would go and if I would go. So just a little small gathering.
That's the best way to celebrate. It's just with the family.
Yeah, yeah.
Who was the first player to reach out to you after the draft?
I believe Braden Hashe, who is now in Barrie, but I think he was the first one to give me a call and say, "Welcome to the family, bud."
Yeah, Hashay is actually like a sweet, honest guy. Like I had him on my show before, and he's a beauty. Like I have nothing
Oh
bad to
yeah,
say about him.
no, nobody does. He's a great guy. We all loved him. We're sad to see him go, but we hope for the best with him and Barry.
Well, yeah, you hope that he goes on a deep playoff run, right? Because that's mainly why the Colts picked him up. Yeah, hopefully because as hockey's a family thing, right? So you're hoping the best for your brother.
Yeah, exactly.
Leading up to the OHL draft, how did you adapt your workouts, whether it was on ice or off ice, because of the pandemic?
A lot of it was outdoor, and because there's no real gyms open, so it was a lot of body weight, a lot of like running, a lot of more conditioning type exercises, and then a lot of small group sessions on ice that they had all the restrictions for that too. So it was hard, but we were able to work through it, and I was able to do what I needed to. So it was
And
good.
look where you are now, right? You're in
Yeah,
the
exactly.
OHL. You're playing regularly.
Yeah.
Was it a bit nerve-wracking that you might not have, shown the scouts your entire skill set because of the pandemic with how limited the viewings were?
Oh, absolutely. Like I think we had maybe 2 or 3 showcase games with like the quote unquote top prospects, but like that was really it. And so if you didn't play well in those 2 games or you didn't showcase what you could do, it was kind of hard to really like, grasp like, oh, what else can I do? 'Cause there's nothing else to show.
And it sucks because it's like, okay, I know I have these type of skills. I know I can prove myself, but there's just all these limited viewings because of COVID and everything that happened.
Yeah, and that's why you're seeing a lot of guys from like the 10th and later rounds come and start playing in the league is because they weren't able to showcase as much or as well. So now you're seeing all these guys that realistically should have went way higher and played more are coming to play.
So you played with the Kitchener Junior Rangers, and I kind of want to talk about the jump from Junior A to the OHL. Like, how big of a jump was that for you?
It was, well, obviously playing with your own age the entire way up, and then having to play against guys 4 years older. It's a bit of a jump, but I was able to adjust pretty well just because of my older brothers and being a little bit used to having some bigger size and older people to play against.
A lot of players have told me in the past that they say that it's speed that they have to get used to. Do you think you agree with that?
The speed so much wasn't for me because speed is one of my better attributes. I'm able to, keep up fairly well. So it was more so just learning the game to another level and adjusting, you know, like how you'd have to do different things. Like it's harder to score. You got to score differently. You've got to make plays differently. So it was more that side of it for me, but I can it's definitely way faster.
What do you remember from your first OHL game?
I remember shaking about to go on the ice. I remember I had the worst warm up of my life because I was scared. I was nervous. Like you don't know what to expect, right? So about the second period, I was really settled in, but it was a nerve wracking couple first shifts.
You got into your head a bit, it seems.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Did they give you the rookie lap?
No, because we had 12, so it wasn't really a
Oh,
rookie lap.
what? Oh my god, dude, that is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Did you find that it took a few games to settle in because this would have been your first competitive game in over a year and a half, it seemed like.
Oh, well, we did have those couple preseason games,
Mm,
but like the preseason games were definitely it was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm playing a hockey game again." It was it
yeah.
was it was so odd. Like it was almost a year and a half that we were like just not even like playing games. It was only practices. So it was very weird, but it was like it was so exciting to get back going.
Because you can't really simulate a practice into a game, you know?
Yeah, not at all.
So like you had to ramp up to speed pretty quickly in those preseason games, especially for you if you wanted to make the team, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy. You also played 6 playoff games with the France last season. What was that, getting a taste of the OHL playoffs like?
That's a whole nother animal. The season only goes up. They tell you it only gets harder. So I got to see firsthand that everything's just that much quicker, that much stronger, that much more intense because there's really something on the line every night.
Do you have any playoff superstitions?
Well, I would say grow out a beard, but I don't really do that. So
Do you get chirped for that from the team or no?
Oh no, there's a lot of guys that can't, but the guys that can, they really do it. So it's always good to see.
One of the questions I like asking about OHL playoffs and just playoffs in general is like, do you feel that the ice gets shorter out there? Like it's less time to make decisions, right?
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. Like it just gets that much faster and that much like less time with the puck. Like everything's just like everyone's that much more dialed and intense and into it that like everything just has to go quicker and it's a whole different game than it is in the regular season.
This season, you have 19 points in 39 games. Can you speak to your confidence right now?
It's up. I had a slow start, but right now I'm doing very well, and I've never been more confident in my game. So I'm just gonna try and keep going.
You've played with Shane Wright. It seems, he's an exceptional player. We saw him win gold at the World Juniors. Does that surprise you at all?
No, not at all. He's a fantastic guy and a fantastic player. So to see him doing what he's doing doesn't shock me at all.
Can you speak to his leadership in the locker room and how that has a positive effect on you?
Yeah, he was a guy that just he led by example. Every day he came to the rink and did it right. Took care of his body, took care of everything that needed to be taken care of. He never really slacked off. Like it was something to see. He was a pro before he was a pro, and you could really see that.
Did it right. I saw what you did there. I saw what you did there. Yeah, I did it right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. I was waiting for it to
I
click
didn't
in.
even
I was
mean.
like, did it right? I hope it clicks in with them.
Yeah.
Uh, you're actually a smaller forward, which is kind of why you like Martin St. Louis a lot. How do you play bigger than your size?
That's another thing. Confidence, not being scared. I've taken a couple licks in my day, and just kind of realizing it hurts for 5 minutes. So I'd rather go to that dirty area and have a chance at scoring than be scared of that 3 minutes that I'm gonna be hurt.
What type of player do you kind of describe yourself as? Because I'm getting more of a greasy, gritty player vibe here.
Well, like I'm more of like a playmaker goal scorer, but I also would never shy away from anything. So I don't know, I don't want to say I'm a greasy player, but I definitely like I'll never shy away from the dirty areas.
You guys are sixth in the Eastern Conference right now. What are some parts of the game that you like about your team, and what are some parts that you guys can improve on heading down into the home stretch here?
Right now we're the only thing that I would say is we're a little inconsistent. When we're on, we're really good. We're a young team. We're hard to play against when we're playing our game. So the only thing that I think we can really focus on is just being more consistent and playing an entire game, and that's how we're winning our games against good teams.
So I just have some quick fire questions here on my list of questions. What is your favorite vacation spot?
Holy, I haven't been on a vacation in years. Friggin' COVID, COVID ruined everything. Well, I always love to go back home,
Yeah, of
down in
course.
South Carolina. Go to the beaches, go fishing. Do all the saltwater life stuff that I did down south. So, I would probably have to say, just going home.
Are you a big fisher?
Oh yeah, we're like my grandfather has his own farm, so we
Oh
fish,
wow.
we hunt. We do the whole 9 yards.
Because I think my favorite vacation spot was when I went to Alberta. Like I checked out Lake Louise, checked out Edmonton, Calgary, that area, Banff as well. It was beautiful. I would love to go back there someday.
Oh yeah. Now that you mention it, we went to Seattle, Vancouver Island, and like Vancouver. We did like a little loop,
Yeah.
and we went fishing on Vancouver Island on a indigenous on indigenous land. They had like this charter there that brought us in and showed us the ways and kind of let us fish on their land, and it was incredible. It was awesome.
That sounds like a great experience because I've never been out west before.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It almost felt surreal. It felt like you were in some made up land almost.
My next quick fire question would be your favorite TV show.
I would probably have to say How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, that's a good one. I know. See, I haven't watched it, but I've heard that it's really good.
There's a few actually, but How I Met Your Mother was one of the recent ones I just finished, so it's just off the top of my head.
I'm a big Stranger Things guy.
I watched Stranger Things twice through.
Oh
It
no,
was
like I go front and back. I like if I have nothing to do, it's a summer day. I'm just on my couch watching Stranger Things, episode 1, season 1, and I'm just binge watching it.
Oh yeah.
It's so good. Same with Outer Banks. That's another show that I do watch a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh and then I guess favorite and least favorite arena to travel to, if you can.
Oh, wow. I would say probably my favorite to travel to was probably Windsor. Windsor was a very cool rink, and also just being out in the western side of the league, it was cool being on the road trip with the boys. Least favorite would probably be Owen Sound.
I've heard
Uh,
their boards and like the way that the rink is built is really like just not player friendly.
yeah, it's the same thing with the Pete's. Like they just have the weird boards, like the square. It's smaller. It's just a weird vibe altogether. And then when you get beat in those rinks, it's a horrible drive back too because you're
Oh,
all banged up.
100%.
Yeah, you're all banged up. You're coming from a crappy place, and just like yeah, it's not fun.
No, you definitely want to secure the 2 points whenever you go to Owen Sound.
Oh yeah,
And then with Windsor, like I was following their playoffs last year pretty closely because I have a friend that's on the team. And what is it? Their arena, they packed it to the brim for the playoffs. Like it's a great atmosphere.
oh it was you could tell that that was a Memorial Cup rink. Like
Yeah, a
it
hundred
it was
percent.
it was very nice. Yeah.
Have you played in any teddy bear toss games?
I've played in both of ours this year and last year.
How did they go? What's your experience from it?
Well, both Frascas scored both goals, so they kind of kept the tradition going. The older one, Jordan scored last year, and then Gabriel scored this year. So it was fun. It was fun to be a part of.
Well, because like with my experience of the teddy bear toss, I went to the one in Hamilton and I had just like sat down and let's say like a few minutes had passed. So the teddy bear toss, goal gets scored, and I have my phone in my left hand and the bear in my right. I'm right hand, no, phone in my left, bear in my right. Yeah, okay. So I'm right-handed, and or was it no bear in left, phone in right? Yeah, because I'm right-handed, and I wanted and as I was walking down the steps, because I was on like the 24th row, 24
Yeah.
rows up, I was close enough to throw the bear, so I throw it with my left hand, and it didn't even make it over the glass. I feel like such a failure. And that's my only teddy bear toss experience is
Oh,
not even being able to throw the bear over the glass.
oh boy.
I know. That's just how much strength. Like I do not have any strength in my left hand apparently. Like it was so bad.
Yeah.
So I definitely get chirped for that. And I guess as we're closing off this interview here, do you have any advice for younger hockey players?
Don't give up. If you think you have a knock on you, just work through it. You know, there's no knock that can stop you. You see players from every size, every build, every from anywhere make it. So if you want to make it, you can make it.
Awesome. Well, I'd like to thank again Chris Thibodeau for joining me on today's podcast. Thank you again, Chris.
Thanks for having me.